All right, so today is day 28, November 22nd. The last update was on day 22, with a cab and engine still in the truck, and now all that's out. So first step we did was remove the motor out of the truck, and currently sitting on a skid. God, it's heavy. It's like 2,000 pounds, engine plus transmission, and all the accessories on the motor. Our Kubota tractor, high lift, can lift 1,800 pounds. It could not do it. But it was the primary tractor. Then we used our backhoe John Deere that has 1,200 pound lifting capacity. So we really just did forks on the Kubota, and that reached over the whole entire engine. And then the tips of the forks, we used the bucket of the backhoe to help assist it, and that worked good. But trying to like pull it out on an angle, you lift it, put blocks, lift it, put blocks, adjust the chains to get to the angle you need to then get the pull out. Was a bit painful there, and it's sketchy. But yeah, it went well. I did break a few things. I forgot one line that connects it to the frame. I didn't rip it apart. I unscrewed it, so we're good to save that one. But unfortunately, this is probably for the clutch, I believe, linkage. It has snapped off. I disconnected it here. It was actually free. So it was inside the frame. It pulled forward 3 feet, and this thing must have caught on something, because Dad didn't want me down there and trying to hold it up or something as we're trying to lift it and be a sketch. So yeah, should have this zip tied up somewhere. That's all I had problems with. So I'm gonna find that piece or try to weld it. So that's my only problems I had. So the motor came out, and then the same exact time. It's now towards 7 o'clock at night, starting to get dark. And at this point, we're set up with all the tractors. Let's go ahead and get the cab off the chassis. So that was actually pretty easy in a way, but I had to do a few things. The windshield was stuck on there, of course. Bolts are seized, the pivot pin won't pivot downwards. So windshield stayed. As for like disconnecting stuff, front motor mounts, cab mounts we did in the garage here a few weeks ago. Bit of a pain, which we drilled a hole, access hole right there. We're gonna socket impact down and rip it off real easy. When the truck's all back together, cab on the chassis, I have a piece I'll just weld in place. So that's not a big deal, or pick a plug. Just like one of these little plugs, you can take them off later on if you have to, which I like that idea better. So I can paint it now and put the cap on top. So that was those. These two back mounts are pretty easy, which were actually useful. Once the bolts came out, I ran 2 soft shackles as for lifting support. This chain across to that bucket, and then there's a bucket on this side of the tractor to help lift it off the chassis. So that was useful for lifting point. And out front, trying to lift it, we just ran a chain, which there still is a chain, underneath the cab, across the frame rail, and up to the tractor itself. And that lifted it off. One tractor had to tie off so it won't pivot. It's very kind of front heavy with the windshield. So we had a chain just in case it doesn't tip too much. As we're lifting it, does high in the ground off the air. So that's all that. As for wiring harness, and I know I'm replacing the whole front harness to play things safe. So much sketchy wires. They all work. They're all military correct. They're not hacked up. It's just so brittle. So I'm replacing the harness. And so I just went ahead and just chopped it off right there. And then it splits to the Y for your front headlights, and it splits off to go towards that plug on the chassis, which is right back there. So I just cut it off. And as for the new harness, I'm buying probably from Mike's Motor Pole. I'm gonna get a new harness. I'm gonna cut it off right there as well to make install easier, but I'm obviously not gonna solder. So I'm gonna find some kind of quick connect, pretty much. We'll see. I don't know. Waterproof, turnstile, plug in. Gotta find the correct amount, or one extra for say. Hard part's gonna be you have to strip this back and label each one. On this side, label each one, and then cut it, and then make it join up. So I said, Grandpa, I might have you do work on this during winter, Christmas time for the harness for me. So I don't have the patience for wiring, but that's all. It's like I like this whole truck for you, Grandpa. It's like there's nothing for you to work on. No compression test, no engine work, no major wiring, no. It's like this one's not easy on you, but I'm gonna make it harness for me. Anyway, that's that. And the cab came off. And then we had to roll the chassis forward, so we use the other tractor to roll it forward. No problem. So that's all that. The steering column's still attached. The steering wheel did not want to come off at all. I tried. The center had to get cut off. Then we heated it up. Didn't work. Air hammer did not work. Torched it. Spring penetration oil, that didn't work. Yeah. So we just cut 2 slots with a cutoff wheel nearest to the spline, not trying to damage the shaft. And that plus heat plus everything else, it did eventually come off. But I need a new steering wheel, so I gotta find one of those. But that's all I needed to do for the cab to come off. Now, when we install the new engine I'm getting in 3 weeks from now, we're gonna put the whole chassis wheel painted, axles done, everything painted. I'm gonna drop in the divorce case, the new one, first, then the transmission and then the motor together, and we'll just drop it down vertically, hook up the drive shaft, motor mounts, fuel lines, air lines, whatever, get all that stuff done, and then just plump the cab on top. The new harness will be connected, the fitting connection there, run it, and then how that little connection plug I want to do. And then just put the cab on, plug up, you're done. Versus trying to route the line through the harness. And I'm not seeing much possibility. That plug's kind of big, and then that C channel, so there's not really much space there to try to pull it through without trying to force those air and fuel lines. So that's my intent plan. So, alrighty, so that's all that. So that's cab, that's engine. We're gonna put the cab on a skid, but also when we lift the cab up, we have these things for our front fenders that get bolted onto. They go vertical. There's 2 bolts that go up top to hold in place, and they're like self-tapping right in here to this plate. And I was afraid of, I didn't cut the rockers out to see the rust, but it's like, I didn't know there's a nut back there or a self-tapping, I didn't know. And then the next thing is they're probably gonna be stuck rusted. And so my idea was also trying to get a socket, an impact gun bit challenge. So you have the toolbox here, then you have a fuel tank over there, challenge. So, plus we're in a hurry. So it's like cut off wheel, slice it off. We just bend it up here. That way when you lift it up and backwards, because of the steering column shaft, that's out of 45, you can't go because those are too far down to hit the box. So sliced it, bent it up, and that worked perfectly. And then when I do all my metal work here, I'm still gonna put the cab downwards. So I'm gonna leave it cut till I install the cab back on the chassis, and then bend it back, weld it, and that'll be it. So we're gonna unbolt it here, I guess. But so that's that. So yeah, as for rust, this truck came from out west all its life. Served the Army from 1965 through 2016. It got overhauled in 03 based off this tag here, 2003. But that on the back of the motor in yellow marker, it says 2008. So that motor block's 1987 date code, crate motor per se, surplus that had it, and all of a sudden 2008. Oh, motor's bad, pull it out, swap it. My guess. And then from 2008 through when, I put 570 hours on it or so. So anyway, that's all I found out for that. So I had to fix that rust. I have all the steel here to fix it with. And I'm gonna run some beads in here, be easy on that. Then back here we have, that's minor, that's minor. That's a bit gouged out, not too bad. Not bad for rust. Alrighty. So the next thing is, let's talk about frame and then talk about paint. So, yeah. I got the frame needle scaled. This chassis was painted all black, not painted, but it's like that tar. It's not tar either. Sprayed on for Vietnam to go overseas for saltwater protection. So kind of all this black tar. In this area, I'm gonna leave it be, but at least on the outside of the frame rail, I mean inside, I needle scaled to get where it was loose. But what's firm on there, it's gonna stay on there. But on the outside, this whole thing is black, leaf springs too, and like there's still some. I want it all gone, and then when I did wire wheel it, so it's all buffed, it's nice and smooth finish versus rough. So presentation, it looks good. On the inside, it's still kind of, it's like half fast, but 1965 truck, it's showing good condition. My first job was working for a truck place, hauling gravel and mulch and such, and a Peterbilt that's 15 years old is way worse than this. It's a million miles on it, so not 45,000 miles this has. So it's good condition. But being up here now up north, it's gonna see salt next winter, and so I want some extra protection. So get rid of the worst, so it's not gonna have a chip. Then water gets behind it, then it starts rusting. Got rid of the loose stuff. Now it's all firm. Then I'll apply primer, and then I'm gonna apply our new paint. So that's back here. I'm not gonna tear apart leaf springs or axles. They're gonna stay put. Tires out and wheels. I'm not gonna paint wheels till probably springtime. Alrighty, moving back here now. I'll probably leave all these on still. Pedal hitch I'm going to pull off though, just to make sure the shaft's all greased for pivoting. But that's that for that. As for wiring harness back here, I'm going to leave it. It's decent good shape. All the way back is good till you get to about here. Got some bare wires, and that one just broke on me. So but it's just a connection or that area, that's fixable. It's not worth spending an extra 150 bucks for a new harness back here. That goes just for the taillights, the trailer plug, that's it. So I don't want to go crazy spending money for the back harness. I might, if it's on discount or some deal. Black Friday next week. Trailer plug as well, but sketchy. I might buy the whole harness, I might. Then buy the adapter to go 12 volt for the trailers. But we'll see if I buy one or not. So that's that. Okay. So for the chassis. Now on to the next part is paint. What paint am I going to use for this truck? So I just used Sherwin-Williams Red Oxide Primer. That's my primer coat. All kind of just brushed on. And I'll roll the primer on for the body. And then as for green paint, the truck was, okay, let's just talk about color. So the truck was Carrack, then US Army, like put on 2003, because that's stamped and they paint over it. So 03 is when this was put on. So it was that green paint. So 03 got repainted, and then 08 new motor, but so two different colors there. You could tell this was an Army truck. I don't like Carrack, way too dark and hazardous. Then the new Army green they put on is just too bright. So I'm trying to find in between color. Plus, I was in this Navy Sea Cadets, not actual service, but still partnered with the Navy. So I think the Navy colors, and I want to match my BDUs, but now I'm told BDUs were never meant to match a vehicle, or a vehicle was not meant to match your uniform. So we gotta skip that thought. But my Marine Corps friend says the Marine Corps and the Navy partnered up back then, and the Marine Corps Jeeps have their own Marine Corps color, and go with that. Plus, he has 6 military Jeeps, all Marine Corps green, forest green, and then 2 more guys in town, their Jeeps are all Marine Corps Jeeps and CBs, and they're all the same green. So it'll be nice for in town, my city, all the people I know. All of us will have the same exact paint. So a nice convoy that matches too. So I'm gonna go with U.S. Marine Corps Forest Green 24052 lustreless. So that's what I'm gonna go with. Repco. I bought 2 gallons so far, and I always cover up my drivetrain and chassis, and some of the cab. Then the hood, the fenders, the hardtop, and the back bed, I might have to buy an extra gallon or two. I'll probably just buy 2 gallons, so some extra. Then I also ordered a whole case of spray cans, just for nooks and crannies and touch-ups. So $175 plus $138, and I got a $32 refund. We ordered paint from Quarter Ton Military. The spray cans are a separate website. The paint cans are a separate website, but the same company. And then when they shipped both orders out, they combined it to one box. So it gave me a slight discount refund. So that's that. I also ordered a new seat. So my driver's side seat is all torn up down, even the foam is torn. So I ordered a new seat from eBay, shipped. I paid $65 total, new old stock green seat. So my bench seat's all good. That's covered. And then I'm trying to find one rear shackle. I got one here. I need one more. Then my front needs 2. I need those. New wiring harness for the whole truck at this point. Of course, order that motor. That'll be in 2 weeks. $3,700. Motor mounts, divorce case, rubber mounts. Get those. Yeah, the list is pretty small actually. But Rapco is my first time seeing their site today. I'm gonna go on tonight and see what other parts they have. So, but online, being Black Friday coming up, I don't see any surplus shops giving out discounts. So far, I've only seen Midwest Military has like 15% off discount, which I don't see any parts that I need. So that's okay. And now I'll try eBay, and then of course Amazon. On Amazon, I'm ordering a notebook for this truck so I can keep the log. So here on YouTube, I'm just posting what I can, daily updates / every week. That's why I put down the days now, day 21, day 20, whatever, just to keep myself on track there, so I can look back on what day in the notebook I have all the notes from. So I'm probably gonna be starting on day 30, writing things down, but it's okay. The main thing is when you're driving the truck, test drives and whatever, I go, okay, here I started this at this miles and this hour meter, and at the end of the day with this much, the timestamps, and then just how much fuel it burned, just constantly all that math, but also notes of how the truck drove and or thing I changed or fixed or had a problem with. Constantly have a nice logbook. So I'm getting that. So all right, that's about all I got for this update. The workshop's still not warm, so it's cold. And we're down to 200 degrees. It's not heating up at all. It's just too wet. So, yeah, that's about it. I did put all my hardware in this crate, so I have wood blocks. Like these blocks, I'm gonna give to my neighbor. Try to just make them last longer. They're all cracked up. Guess we can make our own, but that's probably fixable. Rear cab mounts, horn, steering column, and then all the other hardware inside. So, just Memphis, but it's the engine buck. So, I have that buck at least, but I still don't have any TMs for the rest of the truck. So, also looking up this weekend to buy. I did get one TM book that's for a deuce and a half, but it's not for 1960, it's for 1944. I went to my local surplus, military surplus place in town 2 weeks ago. Just walked in and gave them an update on my truck and figure out why I'm having an engine knock and see what, I'm always looking for Woodland BDU stuff and always never has much in stock, but had a check in and talking, and he says, TM books? Oh, the bunch just came in. About 24 books. 20 of them are all trailer books. I mean, there's some trailers I want to have, water tanker and the simple box everyone uses for the Bob Deuce used that trailer. So there's those books, but it's like I really just need a Trek book right now. And all right, Trek books, I have these 4, and of those 4, one's a 6x. They're all 6x6s. Some are 4x4s, and it's like, yeah, have this book. 1944. It's cool. World War II, but it's for a 4x2, so it's still a 6x6, but it's only rear drive only for a gas engine, carbureted. I'm looking at it. Some things look right, like my Trek has, but nothing close. So, hey, it's free. Have it. Okay. It's a nice condition. So I got that. And there was a GMC book for those GMC 6x6s, but that's it. Alrighty, so that's all I have for you. I am going to be pulling the spare tire mount off because I'm going to have a nice painted frame. I'll be pulling that off next fall once I have my big tires, and I don't want a bare spot, so that comes off. And then for the fuel tank, it's going to stay. It's got 30 gallons of fuel. If I take it off, it's going to be hard to put back on for how heavy it is. Second, I don't have a way to drain it. There's not enough jerry cans for diesel. So it's going to stay on, and I'll just go ahead and paint around it when I can, and when the thing gets empty, as I'm test driving it, I'll pull it off and go ahead, and it'll be easy anyway because the bed will be off during test drives, so I have access to it still. And when it gets empty, do a nice flush, plus pull it off and nicely paint it. So, alrighty, that shall do it for an update for you for day 28. So, thanks for listening. Bye.